Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Let's talk about Destiny. Destiny, as you guys know, she always has this conversation that she has with her so-called therapist. I'm not going to go into whether or not I believe she's a therapist, but my point is she has a conversation with her so-called therapist where they discuss things to do with the show. And she does go into a little bit of a conversation about Melody Shari. My thing is, why are you always bringing Melody up constantly? You're the same person that had a whole live and you were talking about we need to stop bringing Melody up to you. You don't want to talk about it. And then all of a sudden, now you are talking about Melody yet again. Even times when Melody don't be on your episodes or on the show, you still talk about her every time you talk to this therapist. At this point, we all know you're obsessed with her, but it is becoming too obvious. You look ridiculous. What I would love you to address is why you're telling her, I'm sorry, I love you. That is what I want to hear. So unless you're giving me that, I'm being honest and telling me exactly why you thought that was appropriate and what you meant by that, I am not buying whatever it is you're trying to sell. It is not working. I don't believe it. And that's just that about that. Okay? Now, I feel like this therapist sometimes, the way she moves is like, girl, mind your business. Some of the things you say is giving heavily invested. You don't know none of these people before. All you know is so-called Destiny's side. I do think she probably watches the show as well, but everything is heavily biased towards Destiny. I would think like as a therapist, you should be a little bit more unbiased so you can provide actually helpful advice and actual critique to Destiny, who seems to need that accountability because she clearly has none. Now, instead of that, they do talk about Melody, and I will talk about that in a second, but they also basically talk a little bit about other things, which I want to touch on a little bit before I go into Melody. But if you're new to this channel, I do commentary on reality TV shows and celebrity news, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap that bell button so you know every single time that I post. Make sure you turn on all that notifications, honey. Make sure you are the first to know every single time that I post. And everyone, please like, share, and don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. I feel like Destiny is trying to play like she did not know what was going to happen when she was setting up this so-called field day. She was saying she wanted it to be Martell and Marcel resolving their conflict. I'm just like, is that how conflicts is being resolved? Is that how you even segue into that conversation? I don't feel like that's the way that you should have brought it. Don't bring it under the guise of a game and then sort of try to segue it into there. Just be direct. Pull them to the side. But you wanted a moment. You wanted to create some drama, and so you did. And I feel like the joke she made saying she tried to set it up so she doesn't lose her job is probably ringing a bit true. Now, I know she tried to laugh and say, oh, she just organized it so they could have fun together. But I believe what she said the first time. Sometimes in humor, there is some truth in it. And I feel like she did set it up in some way to create drama. She ain't trying to lose her job. You guys know I said it so many times that Destiny is moving like someone who Love and Marriage Huntsville is her main check, if not her only check. So she cannot afford to lose it. And so she is working overtime to keep that check, whatever the cost may be. You saw how she was dragging to be the one seated next to Melody, just because she is trying to force it down on us and make it seem that they are now working things out, and she was trying to get some camera time. That is what it is given. You are trying to keep this job at all costs. You don't want to keep your integrity. That is what it is given. And whatever the case may be. And also, I felt like she also used the opportunity to bring up Stormy and a relationship with Stormy. I feel like this whole relationship with Stormy is because she feels like she can use Stormy's name for clout. At the end of the day, Stormy is probably not going to give you a cent, in my opinion. I feel like Melody is probably the nicest person that you've encountered, and this is why her melodies are still playing in your system and you want to be friends with her. If Melody ever said to Destiny, now this is my opinion, if she ever said to Destiny today, Destiny, I want us to be friends, Destiny will drop everything just because Melody is giving her some attention. She wants to be friends with Melody. But because Melody ain't checking for her, she is doing the same thing Martell does to Melody by behaving salty because you feel rejected. I think a lot of parents need to teach their children how to deal with rejection, because sometimes in life you encounter rejection. Sometimes rejection is God's protection for you. That's just the reality of things. So I feel like Destiny and Martell still haven't learned how to deal with rejection, and that is why they are constantly always bringing Melody up. I feel like this is a perfect segue for us to talk about Destiny talking about Melody in this live. So someone asked Destiny in the live chat, since she is a DV survivor, how can she support and still be friends with Martell? Destiny then says that she supported him after the DV is because she would always support someone that wants to do better. Girl, what? And if that changes, there will be a limit to the interaction she has with those types of people, since they don't want to do better or be better. When has Martell ever wanted to do better? Martell may say that he wants to do better, but does he do better? Absolutely not. He constantly, always says he wants to do better, says he has changed, and then shows us that he hasn't. What more of this does she want to see? It's very disappointing that she would actually say that out of her own mouth if she really believes that. She also said that she has to lean into one person being domestically violent. She made the quote with her hands, okay? And that she would have to lean into two people being DV. And she basically says they both hold the same standards, but then why is it only applicable to Martell? So she's basically trying to say that Melody is also a DVer. And I'm thinking, girl, everything that Melody has done has always been defending herself in response to what Martell has done. Why do you act like someone defending themselves and or being in response to something someone has done makes them an ABer? She also said that people who question her surviving from DV because she talks to Martell are sick because they have no idea what she's gone through behind closed doors. I'm like, this is what you are saying. However, do you know what Melody has been through behind closed doors? You do not know. And this is why I feel like everyone expects us to have some sympathy for Destiny, and I used to have empathy for Destiny and sympathy, whatever you want to call it. Now I do not, because you do and say things like this. It's like, do you know what Melody has had to endure behind closed doors? You do not know that. You only know what Martell is telling you. And let's not act like Martell don't be constantly lying. You've heard and seen the lies. So I don't understand why you would say something like that. Of course, the therapist decided to put her little 2 cents in and say that, people excuse and don't claim DV when the woman is the perpetrator, and people needs to cast their minds on that. I'm like, girl, you don't know who was the perpetrator. Do you know Melody? Have you had interactions with Melody? Do you have any ongoing affiliations or any unbiased opinions about Melody? The truth is you do not. So I feel like it's so reach coming from her, in my opinion. It's just insane to me. And I feel like Destiny is constantly trying to make it seem like what Martell did was not too bad, because she tried to make a difference and say, oh, it was a text message, basically harassing communications versus any sort of physical sort of violence. The thing is, DV has different ways. DV could be communications. DV could be so many other things. And this is also one of the reasons why I hate how the naming of the revenge piece situation is restricted and limited to harassing communications. I don't think that is fair, and I don't think that fully describes the magnitude of what it is that has been done. It's like the audacity for people like Destiny and Stormy to constantly trivialize things and make it seem like it was just a text message. It is not just a text message. You did something terrible. It is not just a text message. It is a revenge plot, a revenge corn. All of that is very serious. And the fact that this continues to happen and is ongoing and no one is calling it out and you're constantly defending Martell is triggering. The fact that the therapist is out here talking about, women being a perpetrator or whatever, you do not know whether or not Melody was the perpetrator in the relationship. How much of an interaction have you had with Melody, ma'am? So stay in your place. And I feel like Destiny makes it hard for anyone to resonate or empathize with her. And I feel like the people that will resonate with Destiny, are the people who are just like Destiny, male identified, always defending men, even though these men have proven themselves to be ABs. These women will constantly try to make it the woman's fault for anything that she encounters. Yet you want us to have empathy for alleged DV that you have suffered at the hands of your alleged ex-husband, right? You want us to take your word for it when you have shown us that you are constantly lying about stuff. Yet you want us to believe you and take your word for it. But you don't have the slightest empathy for another woman who is going through what she has gone through with Martell. What do you guys think? Do you feel like Destiny is out of order for saying such a thing about Melody Shari, knowing fully well she alleges that she is a victim of DV, and also to trivialize it, to make it seem like, well, it's just a text message? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let's continue the conversation in the chat. Don't forget to like, share, hit that subscribe button, and tap that bell button so you get all notifications every single time that I post. Don't forget to like and share, and I'll see you guys in the chat. Thank you. Bye.